October 7th was the 1-year anniversary since the brutal attacks by Hamas on hundreds of innocent Israeli lives. And it's been stained for a very long time, still to this day, and likely will be for, long into the future from now. This caused a chain reaction around the world where all of these protests started to erupt, and they were all pro-Palestine, calling for pretty much the death or extermination or combination of both of Jewish people, but specifically Israeli people. And we've seen this rise here in Canada, right? All of these protests have erupted. I did put out a video kind of late last night about that. And I just, as I promised you, I would have one ready for you early this morning. And that's what we're going to be taking a look at right now. These protests escalated to kind of lethal levels. The police heavily involved. I don't know if there were more police collectively in 3 locations of these protests than there were during the Freedom Convoy. I'll leave that up to you for your judgment. But nonetheless, we're taking a look at 3 different locations. So the first is going to be in Ottawa. The second is going to be in Quebec on a university campus. And the third is going to be in Toronto. Maybe somebody down in the comments can lay down those timestamps as to when we go from one city to the next for ease of people, because right at last minute, I've added some things in, I've taken some things out. So at the time of literally saying this, I don't know where those timestamps are. And 3 people are to congratulate for basically getting all of this footage. I'm not the one who caught this footage. I'm just piecing it all together and trying to deliver it in a consumable way in a 20 or 30 minute long video. The first is going to be in Ottawa. You've got the Right Blend on X. Highly recommend you go and check him out. Then you have Leviathan, who got the Quebec footage, right? Highly recommend you go check out that account as well. And then you have Karima, who was in Ottawa. In Toronto, sorry. Highly recommend, for crying out loud, you go and check out her channel. That being said, get ready, because this is going to be insane. Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to another video, everybody. Before we get into it, I do want to encourage you guys to smash the like button and subscribe if you haven't already. It does really help grow the channel. And without further ado, let's take a look at everything that happened in all 3 of these cities in Canada with these October 7th protests. Starting off with Ottawa. So I did show this clip last night by the Right Blend.
Ottawa Police Tactical Bearcat on Wellington Street in Ottawa, as there's expected to be a pro-Palestinian rally at the Israeli embassy around the corner in just a short time.
And that there was. That is crazy.
In the background there, that's the West Block where parliamentarians go to the House of Commons. In the background, right outside the Israeli embassy right now in Ottawa.
Cam back.
Filming in public.
So that, of course, was at the start of the night. You've got these masked people here with their scarves. Sorry, I don't know exactly what it's called, a kafeye or something along the sorts, that are recording these individual, independent people. In this instance, the Right Blend here. It's bizarre, but okay. Heavy police presence blocking the streets.
Down there at O'Connor
Jinx.
and Metcalf. And then there's a protest happening here in front of the Israeli embassy. It's been going on for the better part of an hour now.
It's not respectful to film while they're praying. Just give them a minute. Just give them a fucking minute. Give them a fucking
Okay.
It's not respectful to claim that other things aren't respectful while they're praying. Like, what a weirdo. Just move on with your life. Here's the Right Blends kind of summary of everything that happened in Ottawa.
Hello. This is the scene in Ottawa, right outside of the Israeli embassy in Ottawa. The protests here just clearing, going down the road. Police kept this area under control. You can see barricades here. They're fastened together with chains to protect this building at 50 O'Connor that houses, among other things, the Israeli embassy. They were here for over an hour, covered that. So go ahead and check out all the clips on my channel. Pretty much concludes my coverage of today's events. Oh, look, there's a nice little restaurant over here. Dinner and a show. Restaurant Collective. I wonder, there's people in there. Right. Well.
Oh my God, careful, because turns out that some pro-Palestinian protesters are going around smashing windows. So be very careful, anybody in that downtown core who's a business owner. Highly recommend, again, you guys go and check out The Right Blend. Now let's take a look at what happened over in Montreal, where things just got completely out of hand. Vandalism, lethal tactics used by the police to counter the craziness that was going on from the protesters, and much more. So starting off with vandalism.
Hey, get the fuck.
Hey, get out of here. What are you doing, recording? What's going on? I don't know. Kind of crazy. That's also a crime. And then let's take a look at this almost DJ booth kind of vibes.
Defeated by our heroes in the land of Gaza. Defeated by...
Okay, then you've got this one here.
For our resistance in Gaza, make some noise!
So these crowds are filled with thousands of people calling for pretty much the death of Israel. I'd love to know what you guys think down below in the comments about all of this. And that wraps up what happened in Quebec or in Montreal. And now let's take a look at just the sheer craziness and sheer amount of people that showed up to Toronto. So it's starting things off here with hundreds of Israeli flags were placed on the lawn in front of Allied Voices for Israel for the 1-year anniversary for October 7th. And then here are all the police members that are just kind of getting into formation. When I see stuff like this, I like to think of, that song in Star Wars. Dun, 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 dun. But nonetheless, there you go. All tacked up and ready to go. Everyone's matchy-matchy, and they all have their orders. And what they really did was they created barriers. As you can see, all the Palestinian flags are on that side, and everyone that the police are facing are Israel protesters. So they created these very visible lines of, if you support one side, you go there. If you support the other, you go there. And there is also in the background all of those completely decked out caravans, which we're going to take a look at here in a moment, but not first without seeing these billboard trucks with the Star of David and rotating "Free the Hostages" driving through the streets of Toronto. I feel like we know whose billboard truck this belongs to. Because the last time we saw this was by Rebel News. But nonetheless, here you go. You have agitators that I think this guy ended up getting arrested by the end of the night. Police escort him off the premise.
This just what happens, bro. The biggest gang of them all. The biggest gang of them all. You know what I mean? We came here.
Can't rile up people.
One prayer. The biggest gang of them all, man. The big. Don't worry.
So you can't rile people up, but you can call for the death of Jewish people in the streets of Canada? Kind of crazy. Police got their bicycles, their bicyclette, ready to get some exercise, and then also mainstream media on the scene. One thing that's extremely noticeable is how many more people there are for the pro-Palestine than there is for the pro-Israel, or just waving a Israeli flag. And then you have all of the vans ready to carry the police troops, and then also likely in case there are a significant amount of arrests. Which so far there were not a significant amount of arrests, but there definitely were a few. And then as the protests escalated, this is what it looked like. You've got the smoke grenades.
In your face. This is ridiculous. The police are doing nothing.
I mean, I never thought that you would be legally allowed to protest with smoke grenades in Canada, but here we are. Handing out earmuffs and earbuds to each other. Standard procedure. Got to keep your eardrums safe. Block out all the pro-Palestinian noise. Look at that. The wind and the season definitely sets a certain dramatic tone, not to mention all the smoke grenades definitely makes it a little bit more Hollywood-esque. Cops. A lot of cops, folks. That is a tremendous amount of police. And then you have this one right here where high school students are running around celebrating October 7th, and they're screaming Allah Akbar.
Free, free Palestine! Free, free Palestine! Free, free! Allah!
Kind of crazy once again. And you have, as the protests moved through the streets, this one was in, still Toronto. This is what it looked like. Israel, the greatest shame of the Jewish people. And there you go, folks. There you go. I mean, that's pretty much, what happened. They've got DJ remixes and all those, you know, different versions of what's going on. You had assaults that took place as well. Men were assaulting women by running up and pushing and shoving them.
No, Jason! Don't you fucking dare! Don't! Stop! Stop!
Of course, police did absolutely nothing there. And then you have Ezra Levant from Rebel News, who showed up at the Toronto location.
Ezra Levant here for Rebel News. I'm standing outside the Prosserman Jewish Community Center in North Toronto. Thousands of members of the Jewish community, the righteous Gentiles, including people from the Persian community, are gathering for the 1-year anniversary of the monstrous terror attacks in southern Israel perpetrated by Hamas and actually by civilians in Gaza who came along for the massacre. They're talking about Israel and the hostages that are still held in Gaza, but they're also talking about the anti-Semitic crime wave here in Canada. It'll be interesting to see who's speaking tonight. I haven't seen the names of the speakers released yet. I would imagine that Melissa Lantsman, the deputy leader of the Conservative Party, will be here. She's from not too far away in Thornhill. It'll be interesting to see who else attends. The reason I say that is that the Liberal Party of Canada is formally the party of Hamas. Their Liberal Hamas caucus has voted repeatedly to send millions of dollars to their UN front group, the UN Relief Works Agency, that launders money to Hamas. They've condemned Israel repeatedly. It's been a disgrace, and in reaction to that, the liberal street gangs on the regular anti-Semitic hate marches in this country have thrived, knowing they have at least the tacit permission of the political class. I want to know if Mayor Olivia Chow will be here. She goes to every frivolous event, including astonishingly inappropriate events when she went in an outrageous costume to Caravana, for example. She'll take any excuse not to do the work of mayor. I highly doubt she'll be here tonight. I hope I'm proven wrong. Like I say, I think the Conservatives will be here, but will Justin Trudeau be here? Of course not. That's just a joke. Will Doug Ford be here? No, he won't, because he can do math also, and he is willing to weigh the votes of anti-Semitic Ontarians, and he won't alienate them. He needs all the support he can get. Justin Trudeau is so atrocious. I think people...
Okay, so as you can see, as the night went on, there were significantly more people that did show up in support of Israel. But nonetheless, one clip in particular just really stands out for me. And it's only a few seconds long here, 6 seconds to be exact. But just take a look at how powerful and kind of angry this video portrays. Streets flooded, you know, from building to building. You can't walk anywhere unless you're walking in concession with the protests. Smoke grenades, chants, and not a single Canadian flag. And this is what, out of everything that happens, I mean, calling for the death of people in the streets of Canada, I mean, that's just messed up. No matter how you look at it, that's messed up, and that really shouldn't be allowed. Not to the extent of what's going on, right? Well, who am I to say it should or shouldn't be allowed? I just think it's absolutely gross. The second thing that bothers me is the fact that nothing that's going on has anything to do with Canada, other than there's Canadian Palestinian people living in Palestine or moving here. I don't really know. I don't really. Who knows what the hell's going on? And there's Canadian Israelis living in Israel that were affected by this. But nonetheless, Canada is just so hyper-focused on things that are happening outside of this border. Now, likely you aren't. I certainly try not to be. But when you see things like this, right, these types of protests where there's not a single Canadian flag, not a single, you know, no one there is protesting anything of what our government's doing other than the fact that they're not calling for a ceasefire, which they have. So there's nothing else that Canada can do. Like, not a single thing. There's nothing we could do. So I don't even know what the hell they're trying to protest, because Justin Trudeau, Mélanie Joly, they've all called for ceasefires. And obviously, the countries that are at war are not going to listen. So what else do you want Canada to do? I personally would really like it and appreciate it if we just focus more on Canadian problems and Canadian matters. Now, of course, what happened on October 7th, 2023 is absolutely disgusting. It's atrocious. And that's going to leave a lingering stain for an extremely long time, if not forever, especially for those that were directly impacted. But nonetheless, man, this is craziness what's going on. And you have Canadian MPs that have literally said in the House of Commons, this should not be acceptable. They're calling for the eradication of Jewish people that are even living here in Canada. So I just kind of want to pass the question off to you. How do you feel about this? Are you okay with this happening? Are you against it? Let me know your reasoning down below in the comments. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is we're going to end this video. Again, I really want to highlight the 3 people that, were able to compile a lot of this footage from their respective locations. I highly recommend you guys go check them out. And as always, I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye for now.